So hi guys, welcome to my video, and today in this video we'll be looking at inline block versus block element. So we'll be looking exactly each one of them one by one. We'll be looking all there is in the HTML to look after. We'll be also understanding where you should use inline, where you should use block, or where you should use inline block. So when you come across CSS, it might sound intimidating to you at first because they are very confusing. But worry not, today we'll be discussing in depth and crisp and clear. You will get a crisp and clear understanding after completing this video. So let's get started. So first thing first, as usual, I will open up the VS Code, okay, and a Chrome browser. So you can use any browser. So by the way, I have written some boilerplate HTML right here, which does nothing except for the fact that it has some meta tag and these predefined or default tags. Okay, so I also have a style CSS which is empty for now. We'll be writing CSS here. Okay, so let me link the style sheet first. So I'll be doing above the title tag link and provided the path. So basically this is the relative path to the style sheet. Okay, so first thing first, we'll be looking at inline. What is inline and how we can use it. So I will write some HTML code. So let's take a container. Inside that, let's take a div with, let's say, a parent class name, and inside it I will have some a tag with the text called, with the class called BTL, let's say. Okay, so hyperreference will be hash because we don't want the URL redirection, and the name inside that button should be something like click me. Okay, very convincing. Yeah, when I saved it, as you can see, the click me appeared here. Okay, so I will do some usual styling in order to make it look good. So I will go to my style sheet, and here I will just reset the page like usual. Before, after, and margin to be 0, padding to be 0 as well, and box sizing, border box. Okay, and let me center everything inside the body. So I will select the body element. I will add min width is 100 width, min height is 100 view height, display flex, justify content center, and align atom center. Okay, so now it should be centered. Okay, it is. So what we going to do is select the parent element inside the container. So I have container first. So inside container I have parent element. Okay, so the parent element should have width and height. So I will say 400 pixel width, and height should be, let's say, 600 pixel, a little bit rectangular, and background color should be somewhere around like aquarium. I really like this color. Okay, as you can see, now we have this. Okay, and I want this click button to be around the center, so I could use I can use here as in text align center. Okay, and I can have some margin top to it. I won't be using positioning here because I don't want you to get confused. I can just use positioning absolute and transform properties in order to center this click me button, okay, inside that parent div. But I will not be doing this because I don't want you to get confused. I will just explain the obvious thing, that is inline, block, and block elements. Okay, so let's just have some margin top to it. Let's say 4 Okay, so why the margin is not being applied to it, even though we have this. So let me first make it a little more attractive button. So text decoration, and we'll be taking a look at why margin is not applied in a sec. Okay, so text decoration none, and font size is, I think, good. I will say background. Okay, background color is let's say black. Okay, and color to this click me is white. Some padding will be great. Padding to rem. Okay, so 2 rem from left, right, and 1 rem basically from the top and bottom. So now it looks like a button. Okay, so I can also add a hover class in order to make it look like it's clickable. So when user hover over the button, we will change its background color. So background color is going to be like black, but not entirely black. So I will just say RGBA 0,0, so I will add the alpha property to be. So yeah, so whenever I hover over it, yeah, it kind of looks like a transparent. Okay, and we can also add something like transform scale to 1.1 whenever we hover over it. So it's not working. Transform scale. Okay, I think it will be working once we understand about the inline block and all these elements. So why on this button the properties like margin, the transform properties are not working? Also because by default the button is what? The button is an anchor tag. So a tag by default, that is anchor tag by default, is an inline element. Okay, by default by an HTML. Okay, so the inline element basically doesn't allow user or the developer to apply margin, padding, or width and height. So let me give an example. So even if I add width 400 pixel and height, let's say 500 pixel, the button stays the same, and the width and height you are seeing right now as a black box is applied only because of the padding. If we remove the padding, then there would not be anything. Okay, so there only be the black background color because we have click me text inside. So the width and height that you are seeing is just because of the padding, but the width and height we have applied here has not been added to the button because it is an inline element by default. So if you don't write it for the button or for the a tag, it's already written in the inner programming that this is a display inline. Okay, so the inline properties basically because the button is inline, if we have something like p tag and have some text idea, so as you can see, the text is, the p tag is been applied from the next line because the p tag is a block level element. Okay, it is not an inline element, but the button is an inline element, so it stays here. Okay, and it is out of the flow, so it is not like it is maintaining any flow. It is outside the natural flow of the HTML tag. So while inline element, you cannot apply width, height, or margins. So margin is also not applied here. Okay, so what you can do to fix this? So you can use display block. You can use block element. And also before doing that, I will also give an example, or I will also name some tags that are inline. So the inherently inline tags are mostly the formatting tags, that is em tag. You might have come across this tag, which is em. Emphasize tag, this is also inline tag. A strong tag, text formatting, this is also an inline. a I tag for italic, a small for small tag. These are all the inline tags. These are basically the formatting tags. Okay, these are the inline tags by default. And span, anchor tag, and image tag also are the inline tags. Okay, so let's just take a look at the inline block before moving to the block level elements. So here I will just do inline block to the btn element, and as you can see now the margin has been applied, top margin 4 rem. So as you can see now the button has been placed 4 rem down to the top because of the top margin. Okay, and also as you can see this is no longer overlapping with the p tag, paragraph tag. The text is just below that because in case of display inline block, it works exactly same as the inline, but with few things like you can add margin padding. Okay, and you can also have width and height. So if I can show you here, so width is 300 pixel. So as you can see the width of this button has changed to 300 pixel because it is an inline block element. So in case of inline block, it works exactly same as the inline element, with an exception like you can add margin, paddings, width and height. Okay, so this is inline block element. Now we will be looking at block level element. So here I will just erase this and block. So when I saved it, so take a look at that. So what happened, the block level element takes up the entire width. So it has not taken the entire width in this case because I have already specified by myself 300 pixel width. So if I just comment this out and save it, it has taken the entire width of an parent element. So block level element basically is like a block, so it will force other element to start from its next line. So like the p tag. Okay, so in case of p tag, if we have let's say a span tag rather than a p tag, so the span tag is an inline element by default. So right now, just for a sec, I will just make this element not a block, inline. So as you can see guys, both these elements are now inlines. Okay, so inline element, as the name suggests, are in the same line, are in the same inline. So the p tag starts from the same line where the click me has ended, where the content of the click me has ended. Okay, so these are the inline type. So once I do a display block to btn, so it will take up the entire space and it will behave as a block level element, so that it forces its sibling to start from a new line. So when I saved it, as you can see, the text inside the span tag has started from a new line rather than starting from this only line, and it has taken the entire width of a parent element. So it is taking up as much width available to its parent element. Okay, so this is all about the block level element. So inside the block level elements, you can also add width, height, margin, padding, everything. And some of the example of the block level elements are div, h1, p tag, section tag, etc. You can Google this out, but this is basically all about block, inline block and inline. So hope you liked the video and hope you learned something new. If you have any doubt with this, you can comment, you can ask me on LinkedIn. I will explain and answer to each and every doubt. Till then, take care, goodbye, peace out.